Hi guys, you've possibly seen me working on this chassis with various body shells on it. The chassis is originally from one of those Toy Story cars that Woody and Buzz Lightyear sit on to chase a lorry or a car, I can't remember. I did watch the film with my grandsons once. Anyway, I've done some work on this body shell, and last time I did something I replaced one of the gears in there. I can't remember which one, but I've just stuck this body shell on here because I was toying around with some 3D printed. Let's take it off, then we can see what we're talking about. There we go, because it's only held on with blue tack at the moment. Yeah, I was playing around with some 3D printed brackets so we can actually put that body shell on there semi-permanently. When I came to test it, and the gear that I put on there, I assume it's that gear, is probably slipping on the shaft. So I'll have to take it apart to have a look. So I'll unplug that for a minute. How do we get in there? Oh, we've got to undo all this again, haven't we? Undo those two. I think there's two in there. I'm not sure if there's one underneath the where I've stuck the receiver on the top there. I'll put some temporary rubber bands around here just to hold it all in place. Let's take them off. Yeah, I was just toying around with a bit of 3D printing there. Right, screwdrivers. There's one. Oh, there's the other one. Looks like I've got to unclip the aerial that I put on there as well. I was even toying with the idea of making this hobby grade for no particular reason, other than I seem to be making everything else hobby grade at the moment. I think we've got to split the rear axle there as well. Yeah, that's all. It can't be that long ago that I took it all apart. There's a magnet to catch the pieces. I cut the body shell up quite a bit, or chassis, to fit inside something else that I was using it for. Right. Okay. Well, I don't think it's... No, it's probably the actual pinion gear. It's probably just slipped off the shaft because the PLA is not quite the same as the original nylon. If I plug that battery back in again, we can test it, can't we? So those gears are going to fly out, so I might as well take them out anyway. Yeah, I can hold that pinion gear still. So that's annoying, isn't it? Yeah, it's just too loose on there. Well, probably the best thing to do is reprint it with a slightly smaller hole in it. Although it could be that I printed it with too small a hole and drilled it out. I just don't remember. I'd have to go back and watch the previous video, wouldn't I? Either way, we'll reprint it. What I will do is probably the same as I did for something else. These are dog bones for my rock crawler, and I printed it 6 times with slightly different sized shaft holes in it. That was 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, because it really doesn't make much difference what you design it at, what you tell it to print it at. Once it's heated and contracted a bit when it's printing, it doesn't end up exactly right, or at least in my experience it doesn't end up exactly right. So if you've got a bit of a range of them, then you can choose the one that fits the best. So that's what I'll do. I'll go and design a little set of 6 of them. Well, I probably don't need 6, but a set of them with slightly different sized holes in them. Before you think I'm completely stupid, which you probably do anyway, yes, this was for a 3mm shaft. Obviously that's not a 3mm shaft, we're talking different dimensions here. That's a 2mm. People laugh at me using this cheap vernier, or whatever you want to call it. That was from Poundland and came with a few other bits and pieces. But like I'm explaining here, even if you measure it absolutely perfectly, you're probably going to have to print it 2 or 3 times to get the right size. So that's what I'll do. I'm just thinking a little bit more. I was just talking about possibly making it hobby grade. I could make it hobby grade by just putting 2 ESCs on it, one for the drive motor and one for the steering motor, and that does work. But I'm just thinking, if I'm going to 3D print things for this, I could 3D print a little bracket here for the servo to fit exactly where this motor is fitting at the moment. But instead of having that size pinion gear, when you use one of these motors to steer with, it can spin multiple revolutions, whereas your servo only turns about 180 degrees, half a revolution. So you want more teeth. If I just put the servo straight down in the same hole, the gear that it's got to link up with underneath, I don't know why I'm trying to talk over that. I might as well get that out of the way as well, so you can see what I'm talking about. Right, if I reprint this piece entirely to fit the servo, and then on the servo, if I've got one somewhere, yeah, instead of obviously the servo arm, which we could use just to push this backwards and forwards, but I could print a gear wheel to go on there to match up with that, to do that bit. Although to be quite honest, it would be just as easy just to stick an ordinary servo there with an arm and push this lever backwards and forwards. I think I might do that, but I could still make it fit to the same screw holes there, so it can sit up there and do it. Yeah, that's what I might do. I'll take the measurements off that, adjust it to fit one of them on there somewhere, and then use that to do the steering, and we'll make this hobby grade while we're at it. I've just remembered another reason for doing this. When we take all these apart, one of these gears has got teeth missing, as I remember. I've forgotten about that. That gear there, the one that's right underneath. Let's see if we can zoom in. Yeah, it's got teeth missing just there. Or I say missing, they're broken. And, oh, that's out of focus, isn't it? That tooth there is missing as well. Yeah, I'll make a bracket to fit on those three pillars there, so we can mount the servo on there, so it can just do the steering as normal. Yeah, we'll do all that. So, new pinion gear and a bracket to mount a servo there. Do away with the toy grade receiver, ESC, hobby grade receiver, hobby grade servo. I'll probably just use a plastic gear servo. I've got some metal gear ones, but I think it will survive with plastic anyway. Thanks for watching. You'll find more information down in the video description. You might like to watch that video up there, and you might like to subscribe over there.